Steno peeps, I have a fun dictation for you today. Today we're going to be doing a Q&A. This is going to be between an attorney and Clark Griswold from the movie Christmas Vacation, where the neighbors are suing Clark for the damage to their house due to the bright Christmas light fiasco. So I will speak in a lower voice for the attorney, a higher voice for Clark Griswold. Let's get started. So you're here about the lights, huh? Yes, Mr. Griswold. My clients, the Johnsons, are suing you for the damages caused to their property due to the excessive brightness of your Christmas lights. Excessive? They're just Christmas lights, the brightest, most festive lights in the neighborhood. Yes, but they claim the lights caused structural damage to their house, fading paint, compromised shingles from the heat, and their TV reception's been shot since you lit it up, that mega display. Look, I was just trying to make this the best Christmas ever for my family. You know, create some holiday cheer. And it's certainly cheerful. But are you aware that the electrical system you installed exceeds standard residential power limits? I didn't skimp on the setup. No, sir. It's got a 40,000 bulb capacity. I even had an expert check it out. The expert might need to be investigated for negligence. Your setup seems to have knocked out half the power grid in the neighborhood. The power company was supposed to come by and install a transformer. I swear, it's all legal. Well, it's one thing to have a family tradition, Mr. Griswold, but you can't just ignore the impact of your neighbors. You're facing claims for damages to their property as well as personal distress. Personal distress? Are you kidding me? These lights are magical. They give people joy. The Johnsons would say they feel more like a little less joyful and a lot more blind. I believe the term they used was like living in the sun. Wait a second. That's a compliment, right? Like they're saying it's so bright, it's like sunlight? Not quite, Mr. Griswold. It's more along the lines of painful. Oh, great. So now I'm a menace for spreading Christmas cheer. What am I supposed to do? Well, you could start by considering whether or not your lights need to stay at Las Vegas Strip intensity. Perhaps a more modest holiday display could solve some of these issues. No way. I'm not turning these off. I worked too hard for this. My family deserves the best Christmas ever. Mr. Griswold, I'm afraid the best Christmas ever is going to need a little less wattage if you want to avoid jail time for endangering the neighborhood. You think I'm turning this off? You should have seen my wife's face when she saw the lights. This is happening. If you insist but prepare for the consequences, you can't light up a neighborhood like that without attracting legal attention. Well, I'm not backing down. Let them sue. It's Christmas. They'll come around, and if they don't, I'll take them to court. We'll settle. Mr. Griswold, I'm sure your heart is in the right place, but you're facing more than just a little inconvenience here. We're talking about significant legal action, not to mention the fines for improper wiring and power usage. Fines? What kind of fines? Well, there are potential violations of local zoning laws, electrical codes, and public safety ordinances. If they choose to escalate this, you could be looking at tens of thousands of dollars in penalties, plus the cost of repairing the damage to their property. Tens of thousands? What do they want me to pay for? A new house? I just wanted to make the season bright. I understand, but when that brightness causes damage, it can quickly turn into more of a liability than a gift. Have you considered just scaling things back a bit, perhaps cutting down on the number of lights? No, these lights are the culmination of years of effort. Do you know how hard it is to get every bulb to glow just right? I can't just undo that. Besides, my family would never forgive me. So you're willing to risk a lawsuit over your family's happiness? Yes. No. It's not just about the lights. It's about tradition. It's about giving my family the best Christmas. I get it. I do. But you're making it a little harder to celebrate with all this attention. I don't think the Johnsons are the only ones who feel you've crossed a line here. Neighbors have been complaining for days about the noise, the flickering, the fire hazard. Fire hazard? You can't be serious. I've got everything properly secured. The extension cords are industrial grade. My wiring is top notch. The only fire I'm starting is one of holiday cheer. Mr. Griswold, with all due respect, you're using a lot of power for a cheerful display. You're lucky your house hasn't been lit up like a Christmas tree itself. I assure you, I've checked the fuses. Every last one. You should see the engineering behind this. I even had it inspected by a licensed professional. And yet here we are with the Johnsons planning to sue for damages. You may have checked the fuses, but you didn't check with your local power company before setting up a glowing beacon visible from space. All right, that's a wrap. Sounds like Clark Griswold's in some hot water right now. It definitely felt more like a deposition rather than being in court, but always keeping it interesting over here. Be sure to keep practicing. Go do your read back, and I'll catch you on the next dictation.